Hey guys, welcome back. Today, I am not baking! Yay! So no having to worry about heating up the oven or whatnot, but I have been having a craving lately for pudding, and you see all these choices that are sugar-free or, dairy-free, and a lot of them have things that you don't necessarily want in them, like preservatives or whatnot. So I've decided to try to cut out as many preservatives as possible and make my own pudding. Now, I have made a pudding recipe beforehand that came out really good without it having any sort of regular milk product. And I used to make this for a friend of mine who actually has a lactose allergy. So I'm going to try making it again. I did write down the recipe somewhere, but I don't think I wrote it down correctly, or I didn't write down all the information. So I'm going by what I kind of remember and what the recipe says. So I think we'll be fine. So I'm going to turn on the flame to about low heat. And I'm going to put the first four ingredients that I have, which is 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And then I have also put an 1/8 teaspoon of salt in there with that. And then putting 1/3 of the cocoa powder. Don't worry, this is not going to heat up too quickly, too fast. And about a 1/2 cup of a sweetener. I'm using honey, so I'm going to mix that in. And one of the tricks that I usually do is I actually put coconut oil around the container that I put the honey in, so it doesn't stick as badly as it could. But honey is a better alternative as compared to like a processed sugar, so I'm just going to use that instead. So I'm just going to whisk it. Okay. Which, we'll see how that works out. So I'm alternating between taking it off and putting it on the heat. You'll start seeing that the coconut powder is starting to melt into the honey.
Cocoa powder.
Which is what you definitely want. But you don't want to burn anything, which is why I put it in low heat. So you want to keep going until you get everything mixed in with that sweetener and everything's pretty much melted. Some of it gets stuck in the middle. I think that's pretty much as good as I'm going to get it. Now we're going to whisk together the milk and egg yolks in another bowl. So we're going to take that off the flame for a little bit. And I'm going to mix in about a can of coconut milk. The recipe I had just regular milk. I like the extra fat content in the coconut milk because if you've seen a lot of pudding recipes, they actually add in butter anyway. So I might as well have a higher fat content. So I'm just going to lightly whisk the egg yolks that I got. I slightly beat them already. Not hard beat, slight beat. Whisk. Okay. So I have whisked it together, the milk and the eggs, and now I'm going to whisk this into the saucepan. I'm just going to add it in slowly. I'm just going to use this. I don't want to use another thingy thing. Let me whisk that together. And it is going to come out a little clumpy because of the honey. So you will have to whisk until it's fully incorporated. But in my opinion, it's worth it. You could have made a ganache with chocolate chips like I did previously and used that, and it would definitely have been more, I'd say, creamy. But chocolate chips usually have sugar in them anyway. And if I'm wanting to cut down my sugar content because I just want to eat this at home for myself and I'm not sharing with others, then I'm just going to use the coconut on the brains. Cocoa powder instead. And plus it has enough fat when it comes to the eggs and the coconut milk, and if I want more I can always put a little bit of oil in it. Okay, it's starting to mix a bit together.
5 minutes later.
We're just going to stir this constantly until it thickens and it starts to boil. Now you don't have to do coconut milk as a choice. You can do regular milk if you want. You can do almond milk. If you want to do regular milk, you can do half and half, because then it's not too thick. The one thing I will say is that you do change the fat ratio in which you have to add in. So if you want to do, let's say, regular milk, then you're going to need to add about 2 tablespoons of butter later on to the end of the recipe. I'll show you where, because I'm probably going to put a little bit of coconut oil to thicken it up. Almond milk, it would be the same thing. You would definitely need to add a little bit more fat to the end. But with almond milk, you would also have to add a little more sugar, because almond milk isn't very sweetening unless you get the sweetened versions. I normally don't. I get unsweetened. So it's entirely up to you. But if, like I said, if you use almond milk, you're going to want to add extra sweetener to this. So instead of a half cup of sweetener, I would do, which I usually end up doing maple syrup, honey, or agave, I would end up using probably a 3/4 of a cup. And you want to stir this constantly. You don't really want to stop. This is kind of like a relationship here, and you need to treat the relationship with respect. So you need to be attentive, say kind, loving words like, "You're doing so well. Look at you grow." See, like it's like a child. You need to encourage it. Okay, now it's boiling. And so I'm still going to kind of stir it. And I want it to, while it's boiling, I'm going to stir it for about a minute.
Check in the fake watch.
Okay, it's been probably about a minute. I'm going to take it off the heat. So now I'm going to stir in, turn off the heat. I'm the type of person who forgets to turn off the oven. I forget to turn off the oven too, but I usually end up forgetting to turn off the stove as well. So, yeah, I'm going to put in maybe a teaspoon or two of vanilla bean paste. So, here we go. Let's stir that in. It's smelling really good. Okay, I'm going to just put it's looking thick-ish, but I'm just going to add a little bit of oil. I'm not even going to add a whole tablespoon. Maybe half a tablespoon. Like I said, I don't want to add too much more. So we're just going to stir that in. And because there's coconut milk in it, it really didn't need the extra fat, but I like a little extra fat. There's no problem with fat if it's the right fat. Side note, fat actually helps you build hormones, such as your cortisol hormones, your sex hormones, so testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. Fat is what lines your cells, so you can't not have fat. You need fat in your life in order to live. I mean, when you go through aerobic respiration, so basically when you're burning calories while walking or doing anything that's not too exerting, you're actually burning fat, not sugar. So fat is not a bad thing. It's just about how much you take in and how healthy you are being with your fat. So coconut oil is not a bad choice. There are some studies that have shown that coconut oil is not the greatest. It depends on what study, and it depends on the amount, and it depends on the type. Same thing with oils, all oils, Supposedly there's a study that says that corn oil is better for your heart than canola oil. It's because there's phytols in there.
Phytosterols
actually take up the space that cholesterol would in your body, so it doesn't allow it to be absorbed. But canola oil and I think olive oil also have the same thing. So there's pluses and minuses. It's always best to read your papers. Take everything with a grain of salt. Pun intended. Okay, it is looking good. So I'm going to let this chill out. I'm going to get a little container to put it in. Okay, let me pour this in. No wasting. Congratulations, you've just basically made a custard. Tastes pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. And now I am going to put on plastic wrap, because I don't necessarily like the skin that gets created when you make a pudding. So I'm just going to put it on top, lay it inwards, try to cover the whole of the inside. Okay, put the top on. And we will chill this, I'd say, you can do for about I think this is kind of close, about an hour if you want. However, I'm probably going to do about 3 to 4 hours because I want it to be completely chilled, and I really want to get the cold taste. So yeah, we'll see you in about 3 to 4 hours. Okay, so I am ready to try this pudding. It has probably been about 3 hours, and I can't wait any longer. So, and there's no skin. Ooh, there we go. So you can see it without me spilling it on my stuff. So I am ready to try this. Let's see. Consistency looks good. Looks like pudding. Yeah. Tastes good. Tastes very chocolatey. If you like chocolate, this is perfect for you. I would definitely put it in the refrigerator though for longer. But for taste and consistency, it looks good. I like chocolate, but that is chocolatey. Overall, it went really well. I am really happy. So I think you should try this out. And, aside, I would have made some egg white meringue cookies, but then I got egg yolks in my egg whites, so I didn't make them. But that would have been really good to dip in this. But oh well, I just have deliciousness here, and I can have this with whipped cream. Coconut whipped cream. That's another time. But thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a great day.